All right, come on. Show the screen. All right, we got the screen. Gonna give it to the 5-minute mark. So if you are watching this after the recording, please go to the 5-minute mark. That's where all the goods will start. I'm just gonna let people funnel in here for a minute. So again, if you're watching this live, recording later, go to the 5-minute mark. That's when we will start getting into the goods. Again, go to the 5-minute mark, waiting for folks to funnel in. So I will add a note. You can't miss this on the screen. The goods. To start the goods. Can I get a mic check, visual check? Can I get a encore? Do you want more? Too big. Visual's good, mic good. Awesome, thank you so much. Gonna wait to the 5-minute mark, let some people funnel in. Let's start the show, how about that? Man, crazy day today, running around, doing stuff. Oh boy, here comes Apes Are Us. How about the apes jumping into Bed Bath and Beyond? Ouch. Ouch. Again, this is why, me personally, I do not trade meme stocks, because at any point I don't want to lose 50% overnight. That would be devastating to all the work you do. Again, waiting for the 5-minute mark. Folks from different FinTwits. Where's the tribe? Can't add that. I'll get a copyright problem. If you want, I could like sing some, but not gonna do it. I'm freaking beat. But you know what? I need to do this for myself. Oh yeah, right. When Ryan Cohen says in writing that he wants to sell, then does it, and they still go dip buying. I'm not surprised. Again, I talked about this. Like people who are complaining that the casino's taking their money don't realize like that's how it all ends. I mean, all these stocks are going to nothing. They're all going to the ground. But people don't want to hear that, right? They want to hear the fantasy. That's what they want to hear. So again, getting there, 5-minute mark. I'll be there in a second. If you have any questions before I start, I go bananas for you. Yeah. You know what? Let's do this. If you're a regular, I'm going to add you as a moderator for the chat. I would appreciate it if you took care of the trash for me. That would be much appreciated. Let's see who's here. Shannon, you are a friend. You are now a moderator. Feel free to clean up the trash. Yeah, 20 million. I think his dad gave him 30 million for the bet. So I don't know what the trade was. I really could care less. I mean, this stuff happens all the time in trading. It's just you don't hear about it, right? It's not public. Ryan Cohen, this guy, all making money, and everybody who sold the pops. Everyone else, I don't know, man. It's tough. Thank you, Shannon. Nice work. Just clean up the trash so people read this and watch it later. Don't have to see the junk. I don't even really pay attention to everything that's posted anyway. All right, getting close to the 5-minute mark. Getting close to the 5-minute mark. Got the CDAs. Check. He's probably going to load up on GameStop. Probably not. I mean, he might say that so his buddies can get out. I don't know. No one cares about meme stocks, man. They're really not investable. All right. This is Dan Max at EXP Realty, a.k.a. The Trading Agent. And this is your live daily market recap for Thursday, August 18th, 2022. Hopefully you're having a good day. Again, let's run through the evidence. I don't think anything changed at all today. Zero. Nada. Nothing. Now, I know a lot of people in the Discord room, we talked about it. This is ChopX. I mean, if you're expecting the big move today, it's possible, but more likely what? Going nowhere fast. I'm just at the point where, again, I'm telling people, you gotta, the evidence doesn't present itself and go immediately in your favor. So it's just one of those things where if you are newer to the channel, again, we talk about this stuff constantly in the Discord room, try to give you advice on how to manage this. Again, this is not really for beginner traders. This is more for intermediate traders who've been trading. Once you learn the language, then this makes sense. And if you're newer to trading, you don't know what an option is, you don't know what a stock is, bid-ask, this stuff is way too far over your head. So anyway, let's jump into it where we always start. Now, again, I appreciate everybody's support. And yeah, if you're not a part of the Discord room, link is in the description below. Again, show some love, likes, comments. Everything is appreciated on all the videos and contents. Get this, because again, the algorithms will get the content to the people who need it. I believe in that. All right, Bitcoin. What have we said? This is just another flag. You have 3 flags. I don't know. Does this turn into 6 flags? I don't know. It feels like it doesn't have the momentum, as does nothing other than potentialities and things that are going to be up in geopolitical conflict. At this point, I'm warning y'all that gold, Bitcoin, uranium, silver, whatever the commodity, whatever the sector, nothing is safe. Even the apes are going to get, I don't know, they're going to get slapped around, get donkey punched. That's just the reality of it. And if they don't think so, then they don't really know what a bear market is, and that's not surprising. All the people who are following Wall Street Bets, Reddit stuff, they're just following, it's the blind leading the blind. And if few people make a ton of money, everyone else gets donkey punched. At this point, I am highly concerned that this is about to crack. So again, if Bitcoin's about to turn over, is the market going to go higher? We'll see. Next, oil. What's going to go next? I don't know. You're holding tight. You broke under the trend line. But again, this is such a hard trade to explain to people. Like, at any moment, geopolitical conflict stuff could pop this. But then if the recession stuff is prime focus, what's going to happen? It's going to drop, right? So at this point, do what you got to do. There's other things easier to trade, and that's all I can really say about this. Let's get into some of the charts. The show has started, actually, and GameStop is not something we will ever talk about on here without making jokes about it, because I know people who literally have their wealth in that stuff, and we're going to find out the hard way. TLT, what we talk about, the market's not going to like higher rates. The Fed pivot is not a real thing. Again, you had some of the Fed speak today, and they talked about raising another 1% next year. That doesn't really sound like a Fed pivot to me, right? So at this point, what now? I mean, it's just basing. This is what's so hard from day to day. The zoomed in, super tight traders today are just like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Up, down, up, down, up, down, A, B, select, start, if you know what that is. At this point, chop. I think that TLT is probably going to go lower, which is sad because I have found out my closing on new investment properties. I can't 30-day lock until next week. I don't want to pay for a 45-day lock. And so guess what? If it breaks down, again, the bond market leads what? The stock market does not like to see higher rates. Let's look at HYG because, again, this is the corporate bond market. This typically leads it as well. Today, oh, well, it's not the HYF. It's HY. What up, G? Did it again. Yeah, 3 flags turns into 6 flags. It's a carnival. It's a ride. Going for the ride. Below the 20-day. I mean, again, 20-day at this point. Let's see if it was resistance previously, because again, that's what you do. It seems to act somewhat like it. It's above it. Now everyone's gonna say it's bullish. It's crossing, going up. It's one of the golden crosses when the 20 crosses through the 100. I mean, there's a million different crosses, but HYG, not really seeing it. Here's another one. Look what the dollar did today. So many people bearish the dollar. I'm like, it always ends the same. It goes on a heat seeker to the top, bottle rocket, and then blows out. We've talked about the monthly. Broke out of the secondary channel, hit the primary top channel. You can see there's a wick up there. Backed off, going right back higher. Again, it doesn't end. The dollar doesn't end in the house of pain. It ends with a bottle rocket shot higher, and everybody just doesn't get that. Just like Tesla. Like Tesla doesn't implode when everyone's short. It goes up, then it goes down. All right, now here we go. Fed pivot, not really. Looks like Prosser, I think it was Prosser today. If someone in this chat can confirm, was out today, but I saw the headline just talking about a 1% rate next year. That doesn't sound like a pivot. The VIX, again, what is OPEX? What's the goal? To burn options on all ends. Basing. Do you really think it's going much lower? Are you a bull who thinks that the VIX is going back to bull market levels? No, I've showed this, and I'll show it every video if I have to. The consolidation before the spike. And everyone's like, oh, is the bear market over? Well, I'll tell you what, the bear market always, now keep in mind, the VIX for the SPY versus the Q, we didn't have that. Keep in mind, the SPY wasn't overvalued. It was a lot of commodities and banks, a lot of stuff in the 2000s. But tech, if you could have seen the VIXen, which wasn't around, spike. Minimum, you got to get up into the 40s to even think that this is a possible bottom. And look where we've gotten to. Barely to high 30s. Y'all see that? Because a lot of people are thinking, oh, the market's bottom. It's like, no. I mean, again, I wouldn't buy the VIX calls. No, no, just buy puts on things. That's the simple one. Sell some out of the money calls and buy some puts. People want to, again, the VIX is so hard to trade because, again, the VIX can like get super volatile, yet the stock market can keep dropping and your puts would go higher. But nope, you had to try to, again, remember, what is the VIX? It's the volatility index. It's what? How big are the moves day to day? Well, guess what? In a downtrend, they're not always super big. That's just how it is. Sometimes you take, and again, in a bear market, you can take the steps down. The last part is when the VIX spikes. And maybe this is the three wave. Wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, going higher. Maybe. SPYs, everybody is bullish. Everybody's seeing the SPY futures, supposedly ES futures are incredibly short. Fine, whatever. NASDAQ ones are not. I think the short interest in the market is back at insane low levels. I don't have this in front of me. What I caught on to was hanging out today. What do we talk about? Like tops, chops, gaps, looking more like a chop top. And we talked about there's three scenarios. You short arm this, meaning you don't get there. You get there exactly what you did. You've hit 2 out of 3. So if you're not loading shorts and you're waiting for the other potential, that's always there. I just look at it this way. The point of control on the monthly, we're there. Can it have a wick? Of course it can have a wick. Can it have a wick below it and then go? Can it have a wick above it and then go? That's always possible. So be safe. I mean, remember, OPEX, what's the worst case scenario? I keep trying to explain to people for the short here. Is that it goes a little higher, or we slap down hard, then rally back, then fail. Like this. You popped, came back somewhat, then failed, and then went higher. Well, what's the opposite of this? Pop higher, slam down, come back, then poof. Keep in mind, remember, I've always said this, the lower high after the snapback is by far, again, how much is that? Every time it's different. But right here, that's what I'm talking about. That pop, bam. That's the one you want, right? Again, remember we talked about the double bottom formation, hence why we're looking for it here. It did it again. What's the best time to short up here, right? Drop down, pop, slam. Do y'all see that? Because again, no one has patience. Like everybody who's zoomed in day to day, they don't ever appreciate the bigger moves. They always look at it like now, right now, big move. You got to kind of trade around. That's why if you're buying puts down here, the cheap VIX, make sure you give yourself time. So if it's a core position, or if you're shorting, just know what you're doing. Like be smart. Like literally, you got to be super conscious of this stuff. All right, we got the point of control right here. Remember, high volume highs, high volume lows, love to retest. You got it, Doji. Look at the cues they're doing. Now again, people are like, oh, it's game over, it's melting. Remember, the volume will show up on the backside, right? They absorbed, again, down here, even down here. Now they're unloading slowly. That's how it works. And again, if we're wrong, it happens. If you act like, again, that's why I always laugh at people who are like super, what I would call condescending to those who are not right. But they don't even know the probabilities. Like, this is the one-off move if it goes to the 200-day. I don't see that happening. But I don't know. You know what I mean? It's just really that simple. I don't think you have to overthink it. So lower highs, that's all it is. IWM, what do we say? The IWM leads? Well, tell me what's going on with the IWM. Got over the 200-day, gap down, retested the 200-day 2 days in a row. Again, we don't know how long this is going to take. It's OPEX, so you can expect the chop. To me, it feels like what? I mean, it could be chop like that, or it really feels like, where was it? This kind of action, right? You kind of pop, chop. Do you make one more high? I don't know. But then it turned into the onion, and it peeled, cried. Or it's something like this where the high is like whatever, some higher high, and then hold in this like lower range bound. That's probably the best way to describe it. A lower range bound. And where we're at right now. The range bound is what? The 200-day, right? Does this gap fill? Doesn't have to. People always talk about, oh, the gap, before the trend ends, the gaps always have to fill. No, that is not true at all. There's probably gaps on some of your favorite meme stocks, your favorite tech stocks like Meta that might not ever fill. Netflix, that will never fill. It will never fill. Gold. Man, I just exhausting talking about this every day because we talk about the market is a what? Liquidity driven mechanism. To unlock liquidity at a wholesale price, get an inventory cheap to sell later higher, it can't even pop. Look where you're at. We talked about the 0.382. It's probably going to chop out. This is a big cup and handle. Please keep it simple. Everyone's, again, it's like, has to happen now. This is the problem with gold. It's purgatory. We talk about it. It's the retest king, queen. Well, is this the retest? Or is it got to be like this kind of like choppy double bottom, one slightly lower low, then go? I don't know. I just wouldn't buy this stuff. The seasonality of it. I mean, again, if you're betting on the one-off move being like the repricing overnight, which continues to get promised, like gold's going to reprice overnight. Watch this. Okay. I don't know, man. I would expect the retest because at this point, look at the past, right? Think about if the market makers did what? Unloaded on the Ukraine news, right? Clearly. Look at that volume. That's a blow off top. Now you're back down here. Where's that buying, right? This is just, again, another one of these slow waves, right? Six Flags, heading lower. Roller coaster down, right? Yeah, they all look the same. They all look the same. Now, again, everyone says they're inflation hedge. Why are they not, actually? Well, they're going to hold up better, right? But what is the big problem, right? When the market peels, the onion peels, everyone's crying. People have to sell. Hedge funds, redemptions, margin calls, sells the winners, mutual funds have to liquidate. Whatever, it doesn't matter. They throw the baby out with the bathwater. I hope people realize that. Now, if you're betting on the exception, that just seems real difficult. Why would you do that? Is the handle a third or a half the depth of the cup? Well, traditionally, any cup and handle should be the 0.382. Well, look at that. Look at that. Right there. Doesn't mean it can't come back or go slightly lower. That's the thing about washouts with the VIX getting into the 40 and 50 range. I tell this to people all the time. Technicals go out the window when the VIX goes spiking. Because why? Panic. Complete panic. Complete craziness. No one knows what's up. No one's down. You got to sell. That's what happens. Silver. Just leave it alone. Don't be early on this. We talked about the best time to buy silver is when you get like a puke move. COVID, right? Then spikes because the Fed goes liquidatious. Here you go. 2008. And then it started it. Remember, VIX spiked. Liquidation. Fed goes loose. If the Fed's pivoting, why is silver not rising? You have to ask you, like you said, like emotions can tell you one thing. Everybody's what? Posting on, every day, FinTwit, I just laugh at these guys. Got to buy silver. No, buy silver physical. I get that. But the actual like paper game, gold, silver, nah. The miners, no way. No way, Jose. Can't do it. Same thing, GDX. When's the best time? Again, we'll actually don't ever buy the GDX. We're going to buy the GDXJ. Because remember? Why? Does anyone remember? Because you couldn't retest the May bottom. But when is the best time to buy miners? It's when the market capitulates. Slam, pow. 2008. Look at this. From the highs, 56 all the way down to 16. That's a big slam. So if you're going to go 45, it makes sense it probably gets down to what? 17, 16 range. But I got people asking me every day, miners. It's like, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Like that Simpsons thing where Bart and Lisa are just going nuts in the back. Are we there yet? GDXJ, we talked about it, breaking the channel or breaking the trend line with volume. Adios, amigos. But remember, it did get up to the May highs. Look at that. That's way stronger. When's going to be the price action? Dan, where do we buy it? What time? I don't know. Can you set your clock for VIX 40 plus? That's all you have to do. I don't know what price it is, but if you come in early, you are playing a game that I don't know if you're going to be happy with, because you might be a few points off, and if you buy calls, you're definitely going to be pissed off because the implied volatility is going to compress and your options are going to get smoked. So the goal is to sell puts, buy JNUG, buy stock, then wait for some higher, lower retest. Then you buy calls, because implied volatility, man, think what implied volatility is. Like, it's like the size of the moves. Implied volatility. How big will the moves be? Well, guess what? When the stock is just melting like butter, it's high. But then as soon as it compresses and bases out, implied volatility compresses. This might not seem obvious to you or some of the newer folks, but that's what happens. I mean, I'm guarantee people have done this where they thought they were buying the bottom. Like, say they bought options in something after it got smoked, and then their options just absolutely collapsed. So they're like, I don't know what happened. Well, that's what happened, folks. AG, leave it alone. Talking about this. I mean, there's better miners out there. I get it. But just is what it is. AE, let's just go to Newmont, because I just want people not to buy this. I just don't want people to buy this, right? I just don't want people to buy this. You know, it's going to be one of those stocks, and I just don't trust it. Again, it's probably going to go back to 30, right? Like, that's what's going to happen, right? You have to just be aware of that, okay? So at this point, leave it alone. Pass. We're going to pass on that for now. Again, I like silver miners at some point. I mean, you can buy the Silge, but these just don't look good, right? Again, had earnings, and it's like you can't even get off the pavement. It's like watching Mike Tyson's Punch Out, and it's just someone's pressing as many buttons as possible, just cannot get off the ground. Just literally, it's like pop, 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 pop. I'm hitting AB, and it's just going nowhere. It's just going nowhere. AEM, now this is the Neo. This is the one in the Matrix. Yeah, smash or pass edition. I agree, Kerwin. Smash or pass. This one has volume, right? Look at the lows. Look at the lows. You got the volume. The market maker needs that. Now, could it be more or less? I don't know. You should expect a retest, right? That's all you really need to know. That's all you need to know. No, I'm not checking out crypto. Expect it to go lower. There's nothing to say. Like, you surprised crypto's going lower? We talked about this earlier in the video. I'm not trying to be mean. X. What do we say? 200-day? Backing off. Now, again, think about everything we're showing. Gold, miner, silver, TLT, HYG. Commodity starting to peel. Onion starting to peel, right? Starting to see the tears. But people are bullish. They don't see it. They just don't see it. And that's okay. They don't ever see it till it's high. Again, like, the market's not... Do you guys... I know most people realize this, but they don't ring a bell at the top and go, it's time to get out. No, it just never works out like that. Nucor chopping at the highs. Not surprised. Everybody's favorite uranium. Oh, it's so bullish. Why does this look like some sort of complex head and shoulder? Here's your shoulder line at like 2570. You got your head up here. I've said this is going to be a teenager. Just not sure if it's the smoking age or the driving age. Driving permit age. I don't know. 15 to 18. VALE. Said this a million times. Coming back to the 11s. Coming back to the 11s. I don't know when. But does this look bullish? I mean, we talked about this last week. Look at this hammer. Look at this hammer and then gap down. All right, you can... I mean, now that it's getting there, it seems like we're like on the brink. The final countdown to a break. Now again, ooh, too much. And that's what's going to happen at some point. Break, right? It feels like it. I mean, all this stuff. Arrow. We talked about this looking good. Copper rising for a little while. Professional gap and chop. I still think it's coming back to the bottom of the channel, and it probably breaks out of the bottom of it. So What did I say about VIX? When the VIX spikes, support resistance goes out the window. I mean, it could break this 6 and just go to 5 in like 3 seconds and then pow. It's really that simple. Okay. What's the next one? Arrow VALE. I guess it's on to Mosaic CF. Just really, someone ban this guy. It's getting so annoying. Asking the same questions. It's really distracting from people. Mosaic, I think you got a double top going back to the lows. I mean, again, it's pretty simple. Hold the channel. I just don't think it's as strong as some of the other ones. But is what it is. Pretty much is what it is. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. I'm just distracting everyone else in here. Again, I don't mind talking about things, but always just asking questions. And I'm trying to look over here to see what you guys really want to hear, not particular thoughts on one person. This isn't a show for one person. It's to help everybody out, right? What do we say? Mosaic looks toppy. CF, this is the one we like. This is the one we absolutely like. Look, you had the bottom and retest, chop. I mean, there's clearly like, here's your stopping power, and then here's all of that at stopping power. So I know if Lupus is listening, type in something. Appreciate it. He knows point of control, where the dark pool funds would be acting. I guarantee dark pools are supporting the stock here. How do you know that? Big money can stop that. All right, let's get into tech, because let's look at AMAT real quick. I know they had earnings after. I'll just start there, because that's going to be honestly one of the first things we need to look at. Okay, it's clearly chop top, right? Or chop toppiness. Let's see. Here is 110. What are we after hours? Oh, look at that. Look at all those long wicks coming back, and we're right back at 110. I wish I was around to short that at 112. Oof, 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 oof. Yeah, I mean, that's why the semis rallied today. And again, it's always, we've talked about this from day to day. It's like the Apple upgrade. It's Bed Bath & Beyond on Monday going higher. It's the meme stocks. Now today it's the semiconductors. You got to buy them. Okay, well, distractions. Focus on one thing. Again, the news needs to focus on something. It doesn't want you to see everything else. It just wants you to focus on this thing that's up. AMD looks like it's ready to crack and roll over. I mean, I've gone through this, how chips turn into commodities, meaning commodities like everyone makes great chips. They start undercutting each other. It gets real ugly. Here's your 20-month, 0.382 backed. It looks like the point of control is about to fail. SMH. What do you got? Point of control. Here you go. Look at all these wicks. Do y'all see this? Just to confirm I'm not talking to myself. Do y'all see this? Like, it seems very obvious, right? Oh, but it's the monthly. I have to watch the 2-minute and the 3-minute and the 5-minute and the 10-minute and the 20-minute and the 30-minute and the 33-minute and the 54-minute and the hourly. No. When does it start, Dan? I don't know. I don't know, but the evidence says if you short it up near the point of control highs, the 10-second reveals all. Yeah, no doubt. Oh, that's funny. But that's the point, right? Here you go. Double top SMH. People today were like, oh, it's looking strong. It's going back to the highs. And it's like, look at the volume. No, probably not. But if it does, I mean, set your alarms. You know what to do if it does. Absolutely bring out the spiked baseball bat, the dynamite. What's up, Cat? Everything you need to bang this thing down. Blow it up. Take the short. Obviously, talk to your financial advisor first. This is just a recommendation from a friend. No, that's what I'd be looking at. I mean, that's the trade there, right? The good old fruit gets the upgrade. Today, it should be leading the market to that 201 price target. No, here's the point of control. Here it is. Gets into and fills the gap. Now everybody's bullish. Market makers got you where you want. Got you where I want you. Yeah. Straight line move. Where's the support in this? I mean, you have to use old references. It's probably going to be somewhere in this like 160 to 150 range. But the Goldman Sachs Buddy Pass on AMD got turned into what? The Credit Suisse upgrade at the highs. 201. You got to put a price up there. It seems very, very, like, it has to be worth it, right? Like, don't put an upgrade and say 173. Motley Fool seems to be out today. Article saying why Apple is totally worth $201. Oh, even better. Man, if it gaps up tomorrow. I mean, I think some people are waiting for a retest of 175, 176. We'll see it. Yeah, the CFO just sold. Yeah, I saw a bunch of insiders dumping. Don't ignore them. Don't talk about that. Let's talk about Credit Suisse, because Credit Suisse definitely knows what's going on, right? No. Here you go. Back up at the highs. I would honestly say to myself, what? Same thing I said about the SMH. Bring out the baseball bat, the hammer. Whatever is your choice and tool for slapping things. Maybe it's the belt. Like, pull the belt off around your waist and take it and smack that thing. Stocks that should be going higher that aren't. Double lower high, Meta. Talked about, let me check out Amazon. I saw that this morning. It was popping. Yeah. Nice. Hits the 200-day. Can't go anywhere. Right? Microsoft. Slap it with... I can't say that. I'll get YouTube will get in trouble with me. It's already probably towing the line with all the swearing. What do we talk about? Microsoft point of control literally just touches it. It's like... Wah. Hits the 200-day. Pop. Remember, they don't like the dollar. At some point, the dollar is going to reflect in the stock, but it's probably after everyone gives up on it, right? NDAQ, let's go into that. Here again, it hits the freaking channel, and it's like today it should be at 200, right? Because it just seems to just hate me for having any short in it in this area. And here it goes, probably, right? It should be making new highs, and look at that. Look at that long wick. Let's confirm all action with the volume. Show me the volume. Everyone's like, do the Schwarzenegger voice. Get down! Get down again! You'll see. I'll be back to the lows at some point. Check out the monthly. This is pretty funny. They got a split coming up. I mean, this is like the Coinbase for crypto. This is the NASDAQ. This is literally where all of the kings of the hill right now will all die at some point. Nobody will trade the NASDAQ. It will be the CME. That will be probably the best index that our exchange. But who knows? They might get screwed with some of this commodity stuff. They might be holding some bags. Y'all know what I mean? Some serious bags. Roblox. What do you got here? Things that don't look bullish. Do y'all see how this is all playing out? Like, as bullish as it is, everyone's like, oh, it's just a tiny pullback. We're going higher. It's like, look at where you've come from. It just doesn't, it can't go. I think I saw something today, and again, guys, I laugh at the RSI and like stochastics, but the stochastics were like, this is the most overbought the NASDAQ's ever been. And it's like, well, what is going on with these names? They're just not getting there. High and tight would be bullish. I can't argue with that, but at this point, Roblox. Here you go, another one. Hits it, backs off. People are like, why do you follow it? It's like, because the volume price analysis. Look at this. Somebody was buying it. Now, this is one I wouldn't short, and I just hope it comes back to lows because clearly somebody's buying it. I guess I'll talk about IBM. Here's one that literally knee bent. You know how I talk about a lower low before you go higher? You broke the trend line. Boom. We talked about the check mark. Doing its thing. It's been the best. And when I say best, I mean, it's pretty damn good. Since November, 119, you're at 139. I know you're not at all-time highs, but it's, I mean, compare this chart to anything else in tech. Good old Tesla. I mean, I think what somebody was posted something about like some, I think it was an ad from Robinhood, and it was like, let's all buy Apple and Tesla for the future. Invest for the future. It literally said Tesla and Apple. And it's like, oh, hey, look, the Robler and Ronald tagged my charts. Thanks, guys. It is the golden arches, the M pattern, the 50% fib. Now, again, it's like, what price is the high? It's like, look at the action. Gets over it, backs off. Gets over it, backs off. The point of control is clearly here. I laugh at the folks who, I say this every video, it was unbuyable here because it was what? They don't make money. They live off of government credits. Competition's coming. Goes on this one green candle and it's changed everybody's life. Yeah, da-da-da-da-da. Loving it. Sorry for the delay. But look, now you're back up in the point of control and literally everybody's bullish. I mean, I don't know what to say. But everybody's going to be wrong. That's what happens. That's what the bull market makes everybody think they're untouchable, and a bear market humbles them, sends them back to where they come from. EXPI. Mike is a tad hot. Thank you. That's all you got to say. Hot mic. Let me check the settings. Looks good. Just get it away from my face. That's all I need to do. Here you go. I mean, EXPI. I mean, the bastion of fundamentals work here. I just put more money in their coffers today. Coming back down. I mean, doing great. I mean, we're blowing away. We're taking all of the major real estate agents and groups away from the competition. Coldwell Banker, gross. Those guys, you know, think about your traditional brokerages. Remax. I do not own Remax. I do not own TJ Maxx or related to anyone. Coming back down. Whatever. UTHR. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we talked about this. This is a head and shoulders top. XBI should be acting better. Look at this thing. It's head and shoulders. Again, I don't want to even go into it. It just topped. We talked about buying it down here. If you didn't buy it there, well, then don't buy it now. XBI. Another retail favorite. Breaking the trend. Held the 20-day. Cool, but here's the blow off top with volume. It's very confident right there. Held the 20-day. Things you don't see if the market's bearish. Right? Right. Or bullish, sorry. The market's bullish. This is not pulling back like that, right? Like, everybody's excited. We talked about this. I mean, we literally, I think Wild Warrior, if you're in here, I don't know your tag. Like, we talked about the 100-day, you could buy that. Look at that. Boom. It's 5 days. That's the bullishness you expect. And now it's packing off. We'll see. 20 days got to break. Now, if you're short this, you got your Lab D, you know your point of reference, right? You know your point of reference. This stuff needs to hold. Let's talk about financials, because this is stuff we're short. Who's going to catch the brunt of all the global issues? Banking, financials, banks, financials. Point of control. Here it is. Check out the monthly. This is where it gets real juicy. Juicy J. Oh, look at them apples. Oh, hey there. Now again, 93. Oh, you shorted at 92 and 92.50. You're an idiot. Maybe it gets there tomorrow. And if it does, y'all know what to do. Oh, take that. You know, P. Diddy. Take that. Nah. You know, JP Morgan. This is where it gets real fun, because JP Morgan's suspended their buyback. No wonder it can't get off the ground. Like, it's not getting anywhere back to the highs. Like, you saw Morgan Stanley. Look at JP Morgan. No buyback. No luck. Well, guess what? I love when companies waste buybacks at the highs. Love it. Because now it's a vacuum. No one's there buying. You see what I mean here? See what I mean, Vern? This is financial. Someone's like, check out the XLF, bro. Okay, I'll do it real quick, and we'll try to wrap this up, because I don't want this to be too long. Oh, it's up. Sorry, I don't have it drawn. Say point of control is right in there. Very clear. This gap. Bottom of that. Top of that. Entry here. But it's bullish, Dan. Rates are going higher. Not when they're laying off all their employees, because the mortgage market's going to soften. Now, again, this is amazing stuff. If you look at the monthly, look where it bounced. Get down again. Bounce. Look at that. Held the 50 month. Held the point of control. Now it bounces back to the 20 month. Now again, pretend this is a 10-minute chart. What would you be doing? Back that ass up. Yeah. You'd be taking it for a ride. You'd be shorting here. But it's all green candles, Dan. Well, exhaustion gaps. Remember we talked about gaps are very exhaustive? Goodbye. See you later. Let's get into oil and be done with this. I'll stop recording it, and we'll chat for a minute at the end about some DraftKings and some of these other names. Yeah, oil, just leave it alone. It's just in this choppy range. I mean, I think you can see there's, again, I hate to do this. The short term, there looks like there's a trend line, something like that, if that's what you want to use as your reference. But I just don't want to play in this sandbox. There's so many easier trades. What do we talk about? UNG, Nat Gas, leave it alone. It's probably going back to the highs. Remember we played it and it spiked that one day? Left it alone. Look at that retest. Now it's the retest of the highs. Is it going higher? I don't know, but do we all not agree that watching oil and gas rise higher can just, it's got to make the Feds just so happy about pivoting? They're not pivoting. God, it's so funny. I love how the narratives always, they don't make you money. They lose you money. That's why if you follow the market, I always joke, it's the noose. It's not the news. It's the noose. XOP. Oh, wow. I didn't even see that today. Get into the top. Get into the top of this range. Get into the 140s. Maybe even 150. Maybe back test this trend line. ExxonMobil. I didn't realize XOP had ExxonMobil. For years, it was like junior oil names. And it's like, what the hell is ExxonMobil doing in XOP? Oh, look at that. Look at that. Hit the trend line, looked over it, backed off. All right. Again, if you're new to the channel, please check out the Discord room. If you want to come in there and tell me I'm an idiot, great. You'll have your say. You can do that. And if you're looking to learn and take your game to the next level, again, we're trading probabilities. We're trading evidence. If you want to just trade whims and trade your emotions, you know, you want to let your ego be in charge, probably not the best place for you. Again, we're pretty humble here. I mean, I might not sound humble, but trust me, the market has humbled me. Think of it as like, used to be a diamond, and now I've been polished smooth. Like, it's beating the crap out of me. It's taken all my edges off. I guess the market's like water, as we like to say, and let it flow. Again, I appreciate everybody's love and support. And again, if you are making money, again, please look at real estate. Everybody's talking about it tanking. You can't have a bubble in real estate when there's no supply. I was just talking again, met with the builders today, and they're talking about the same thing. They're cutting everything real quick. They went from being super aggressively overbuilding in the 2000s. Remember, 26 million run rate, now 6 million for the last 13 years. And they instantly just like, nope, we're cutting back. No more specs. 0 specs. You have to build from the dirt. Once they unload those, again, shortage supply. It's just crazy how people think. Anyway, I'm going to end the recording. Let's chat. Talk to you guys and gals later. All right. Get down and dirty. Get down and dirty. This is obviously going to continue to stream, so let's keep it clean for the folks at home. But the regular version now is going to be sent to the internets. Any questions before I wrap it up? Because I could end it right now. I've had a crazy long day. But I do enjoy chatting with you guys. Any questions? Any questions? Because this is time. Here we go. We'll drop it in the Dropbox. Whee! Now you're in. Now you're out. Any questions? Bueller. Someone said, all right, Nike, DraftKings. Are hearing aids the future? I can't hear you. I don't know about that question. I can see it, but I can't hear it, so I don't believe in it. Nike. Yeah, 100-day. I mean, look at the volume. It's just dead. Somebody had to unload some of it. They bought, market makers like get out alive kind of thinking here. Let's look at the monthly. Yeah, I mean, Nike. They may literally sell shoes. Trading at, I mean, what's the multiple on this? LeBron James is their #1 star. Does anyone actually like LeBron James? I mean, I think he's a good basketball player, but I don't think anyone really likes him. Like, he's probably their worst. I mean, that's why I guess that's why like Jordan never disappears. Because they're like, Jordan. LeBron, you're cool. Jordan. Just doesn't look right. DraftKings. Oh, what is it? DKNG. Donkey Punch. All right. We talked about this when it, does anyone remember? I don't know how many of the older folks know. We talked about how, the stimulus checks were the peak for this crap because everybody was going to gamble away all their stimulus. Oh, look at that, the 200-day. I mean, I don't know what the downside is here other than maybe 10 or 15, but think about it. It's phew, absolutely blown away. Blown away I don't know if you've seen that show on Netflix where they do creativeness with glass, blowing glass. Pretty sweet. What about the beautiful plug? Oh, are you plugging plug? I'll look at it since we're just all hanging out here in the recording. What is so beautiful about it? I remember this stock when it was like, yeah, down here and it ran up. You're probably never going to see these prices again. I mean, here it is, the 20-month. Everyone who has questions, always start on the monthly. Please, 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 please. Look at that double top. I mean, fundamentals. I mean, think about all these. Remember solar names. Sarcasm. No, it's all good. I mean, again, I remember it just made me think about this. You know, buy the rumor, sell the news on all of this green energy and the anti-inflation, hyperinflation bill. Don't you think they should be peaking? I mean, buy the rumor, sell the news. Y'all know that. And look what happens. Can't even get there. I mean, I think that was Tuesday, right? What day is it? Time traveling, guys. I'm sorry. I can go to the future and see what's going on in the market. Just kidding. If I did, that would be awesome. No one would probably know it, though. Yeah, that's it. Anyone else got any real questions? Any OPEX insight, especially on the SMH XBI QQ for today? Join 5 minutes late if that was covered. Again, choppiness. That's all. I mean, we painted the picture. Like, things starting to look weak, Chris. I just think at this point, you don't know when it starts. Like, again, if I could tell you the exact times that things started, now I would be a time traveler, and I would be worth billions. I'd be Bobby Axelrod. I'm not. Just this guy does okay. Wants to teach and help folks because he's made every mistake out there. And every time he gets better, every time he determines I am doing something wrong, do not do it again. You move on. You get better. Just don't blow out. That's the key here. Just don't get blown out. Yeah, no problem, Chris. Any other questions here? Let's go to the Discord room. People are looking at FAS. We should just do a financial bear. Yep. Short the FAS. Short the FAS all day. Look at this stock. I mean, these triple leverage ETFs that are bullish. Boom. I know we don't really chart them, but I'm just saying. I mean, I like to short a stock at 90 if I think it's going much lower. I hate shorting stocks at 20 that are going to go to 10. Because, again, now you can play puts on this thing. Now you can short this. You can take the baseball bat to it. Now, if it's like, say, the Soxel, right? We talked about this. If you bought it, anybody here buy the Soxel in the, what is it? I can't remember. Did we get down to, what was it, low 10s? We talked about buying it in the 12s, right? Like, buy the rumor, sell an, oh, what are you doing, dude? Why are you not showing me the Soxel? What am I, like, dude? It's right there. Did I not type that in? We talked about buying it down here, yeah, and then sell it in the 18 to 20 range. Got up to 21, right? 22. Like, I like shorting this, but it's just not a lot of meat on the bones, right? All right, here we go. Yes, sir. Soxel was a beat nut. Yeah, dude, there's some people who are hanging out. It's not just new folks. Bought this down here. Buy the rumors. What was the joke, right? We talked about it. As soon as McConnell started telling Nancy and the folks on the left side, hey, we're not passing this bill unless it's clean, that was the start of the negotiation, not the end of it. That was the irony of it. That was like the sign to all people in Congress. You know, think of it like the bullhorn with the, it's time to buy semiconductors. Everyone thought it was going lower, right? And we're like, no, this is how they all get rich. They act like there's no negotiating. It's not going to happen. They start discussing it and saying that. That's the start of negotiations. Did you just learn something that new today? Well, guess what? There you go. That was the start of the negotiations. Am I a wealth of knowledge? It's just a wealth of experience put together. Any other questions? Because I'm going to wrap this up here in a few more minutes. I figured I'd give it a little after 7. That was a beautiful trade. Now get out of it. Remember, leverage ETFs. Pow, 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 pow. Oh, people are talking about SOXs today, right? Like it follows the SOXX. Remember, these things decay. Oh, God. Oh, gosh. Semiconductor bull market. That's what it does to leveraged ETFs, and they reverse split 1 for 10. Look at the volume today. Yeah, I mean, people are like, look at the volume. Yeah, it's there. But look at the price action. It didn't make a lower low. I don't know. SMH is just chopping. I mean, this is what's so hard about these leveraged ETFs, right? I mean, you have to know the upside. I mean, could we get into the 70s or 80s? Maybe. All right, well, if you bought it at 35, 34, 33, like, you know, layer into it. Are you waiting for the prize, or you just got to get paid now? I mean, I prefer to just wait because that's usually how it works out. Choppy bottom or V bottom. I don't know. One more question. Somebody give me something. Remember, this is what you want to buy when you think the junior miners in silver are done. Could it get back into the 4s? That would be pretty sweet, because I think this thing, when it bottoms, I don't know if it's 4. I don't know if it's 5. Kapow. Talk about rockets. And not Houston Rockets with Yao Ming or Hakeem Olajuwon. We're talking like Robert Horry clutch, just banging shots every time they need it. Absolutely a banger. What do you think of XL, September calls? Well, first of all, September is, if you're swing trading. Mint, what do you think of XL? Because again, what do we do? Start on the monthly, right? What do you see about this that looks like reason to buy calls? All I see is just a big chop zone. Now, again, do you know something that I don't know? Ooh. 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 I do. No. No. No, 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 no. Like, think of, like, Dikembe Mutombo. No, 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 no. I don't think so. I mean, you gotta... This is what's so hard about some of these stocks. Yeah. Yeah, but they had good earnings. Like we talked about, fundamentals don't matter. Good earnings, it drops. Great earnings, it goes higher. Great earnings, it goes lower. Do you guys see that? I always tell you, like, when you're playing earnings, never trade before the earnings. Wait for the after, because there's no risk in that. There's no risk in that. Short it if it pops and you think it's going to go lower, and buy it if it's going to run and make a run. It's going to start with earnings. But if you get in before it and you buy calls and puts and it's wrong, go kapow. Now maybe if you buy some cheap options for $1 or something, whatever. But remember, the implied volatilities are huge. First, mouse gets the trap. Second, gets the cheese every time. Great earnings? Great. Tons of great earnings out there. It doesn't matter. Like, that's the problem with fundamentals. In a bear market, bull market, whatever. Like, do they matter? Like, look at Tesla. When it had terrible earnings, just kept going higher. And then look at any company, honestly. Like, you see, it's like rolling the dice. Do y'all see that? I got a dice right here to remind me not to gamble. Rolled 4. Rolled to a 1. I hope this helps. Like, that's the hardest part here. Like, you are, again, this is why money managers, financial advisors are always like, you can't predict the market. You got to hold. Fundamentals matter, and it's like, that could probably be the biggest lie that any, again, if the market's trying to take your money, keep that in mind. SPXS October calls. Wow, now we're really getting into, like, all sorts of fun stuff. Why can't I have my brain work today? SPXS, Dan. You don't need to read that, you know that. October calls, the 20 calls, slightly out of the money, so you're buying calls on basically a call. I mean, if you got them cheap, yeah. I mean, I just remember, this ETF might get into the 20s or 30s, so hopefully you didn't pay more than $2 or $3 for those things. It's, yeah. I mean, I like it, but I don't. I think there's better bets. That's all I could say. Is it worth to buy Oil Explorer PD? I don't think you should buy any oil names until what? The capitulation. Blow it all out. Then you can buy oil names if you think oil is the future, which, again, I mean, it seems like everybody wants to not invest in it, but then at some point, what is this going to lead to? Administrations and parties that are going to, invest in oil. And so the oil guys got the money. They got right where they want us, right? So, does the buy, sell, pre-post earnings also apply when layering in? I bought more stocks to say before the close and AMI earnings. It's really hard when you can, like, man, think about it. Like, the whole sector ETF doesn't really have as much risk like that. Like, especially if it's a smaller part of the ETF. You know what I mean? Like, what's the holding? Like, what's AMAT's percentage of, was it the SOX? Doesn't it follow the SOXX? I just always follow the SMH. I guess I'm just old, man. I have these ETFs that I've been following for years. You tell me, right? Like, what is the percentage-wise? And if it moves 2%, okay, 4.5%. And so if AMAT moves 1%, what is 1% of 4.5% of 100? You do the math. mean, I can just tell you that's a small number, right? We all agree that's a small number. Now, could it lift the rest of them? I don't think it. And this is the thing. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. That's a tough one. One more question, but that's a good question. I mean, that's why I always tell people, like, if you are investing in a bull market, say for commodities, because that's going to be the obvious bull market coming out of this, pick all your favorite ETFs, and then pick a few stocks and just let them ride. And why you like ETFs, Dan, leverage ETFs? Well, if they're bull market and that stuff, they should go higher. I mean, you trade around the leverage ETFs because they can get smashed at some point, but I don't like picking stock specific sometimes. You say safer bets versus the SPXS. What would you have choice? What would be your pick or choice? Well, again, I'd rather just short the SPY or I'd probably play the stock. But even then, I mean, it's only going to move percentages. Like, this thing clearly is in the dirt. It's not moving as much as you want. Like, every ETF has different personalities, right? Like, you want the crazy one that's going to move higher. What is it, the SPXL, right? I would have probably shorted that, my friend, because you're at 93, right? You know what I mean? Like, you can, if you buy puts at 90 or whatever it is, like, they can go up hundreds of percent easily. Well, what is your, like, if the upside is just 10 points on calls, and think about the strike, it can only move a few points. That's what I think about options. Like, I'm looking for the points, right? Because I know sometimes you get in percentage. Well, I don't want to buy a ton of calls and puts. I don't like buying lots of them. So again, I'd rather buy fewer with more upside. Does that help, Nathan? Like, that's, to me, like, buying the puts on this dropping, much easier than buying the calls on that piece of crap rising. That's how I look at it, right? I mean, or again, if you can get shares, sometimes it can be difficult with each broker. I would be shorting these things is like just like lighting a match and watching the blow up at some point. Because think about, like, this thing went from what, 147 down to 90, 50 points. Not bad, right? Look at that, 128 down to 60. The S&P 500 obviously didn't drop 50%, but yeah, like, that's, I want the points. If you're, we'll talk about this. If you can find smaller names that are very volatile, again, their options are going to be expensive. But yeah, if they can move like from 20 to 50, like say Roblox, then yeah. But something that moves 20 to 30, I just, in the example of the market dropping, just doesn't really seem that appealing to me. Now people say like, oh, that's 50%. Well, then buy the stock, go large, right? But do not go large on the calls, because if you're wrong, kapow. Well, at least with the stops on the SPXS, at least there with the stock, it's much easier to control and define your risk. Does that make sense? Because that's all I need people to realize. The goal is to what? Minimize and know your risk. Winners will take care of yourself. Livermore said this, and this is absolutely true. If you can just win consistently, every once in a while you win something crazy. But as long as your losses are small and you're doing the things that are going with the probabilities, well, you know how to manage your risk. It's when you are gambling on things that you don't know. And if you don't know your risk reward, that's even more dangerous, right? Now you're like just stepping in there and sitting down at the blackjack table and you're like, I'm going to bet my paycheck. Because people aren't betting small amounts in the market. And that's what it is. Like, that's crazy, man. That is just crazy to me that people think like that, but they do. Because they're thinking this is a gambling game where they win, and it's like bookies, casino, right? The tracks, the race tracks. Any gambling game is trying to take your money, but people don't think like that. That's what the market makers do. And again, if you're not familiar, stop by the Discord room and check out the recommended reading. The VPA book, Volume Price Analysis by Coulling, Reminiscences of a Stock Operator by Jessie Livermore. If you buy the books, I think I have an affiliate link. I'll make a quarter. If you don't want to invest, fine. That's fine. It's probably something on YouTube, or you can hack it somewhere else. I get it. But that's all. I mean, that's all I can really say. Like, you have to think about the market from that perspective. Because that's why, here, I'll end it on this. Like, I love making fun of gold, silver, uranium bulls. Their confidence ensures to me that they are wrong. People are like, what does that mean? If the price action is not confirming it, they're wrong. If uranium is going to the moon, why is it on? Why is it still like, why is the craft not left? It's like, countdown, 3, 2, 1, go. And it's like, think of like the rocket meme that goes, it's just, no, it's not going. Well, why does this stuff stick? Again, because smart money knows. You guys know now. Why would you buy things that are going to get puked up later when the market capitulates? Even the good stuff gets sold. They throw the baby out with the bathwater, and it happens every single time. Now, again, there are, exceptions. But think about Livermore. Think about probabilities. Do you want to trade the things that are difficult? Do you want to fight the probabilities? I hope not. Because, again, think of this. We're playing baseball. If anybody's here, do we have, I want to see, does anybody like baseball here? Because this analogy is going to hit you real hard. Let me see it. Is any baseball fans out there? Or not even, love baseball, but understand baseball, right? Just, I need to see one thumbs up. Or yes, or hell no, I hate baseball. Because I think this analogy is amazing. Because what's the difference between what? What is the difference between the Hall of Fame and mediocrity? The Cubs, the Bears. It's like 50. It's like hitting 250 versus 300. The margin is that small. But think about it. If you just win more than you lose, you ultimately end up going to the Hall of Fame and trading. And it's because what? You ensure your wins. So think about probabilities. Ted Williams, how does he hit 400? He's patient and he lets the pitches come to him. He doesn't swing at everything. And again, if you don't know that it's a curveball and you're swinging at it, it's going to end up in the dirt, you strike out. That's the point of this channel, is to give you the education, to see it through the market maker's eyes, to realize hey, am I swinging at every pitch and going to strike out eventually? Everybody does. If you're too aggressive at the plate and you cannot read the pitches coming to you, you're going to strike out. That's what we always talk about. Hey, just leave oil alone. Leave some of the stuff alone. It's easier to short tech. All right, well, think about it. If you're swinging at everything, you're never going to make the Hall of Fame. Your probabilities now are what? You swing at crappy pitches in the dirt. You might as well be like Vlad Guerrero and hit him like a golf ball, right? Like, that guy could hit anything, anywhere. But what do you think? If you don't think of it from these perspectives, right? If you're thinking certainty game versus probabilities, you lose. I can guarantee it, because that's what people are getting convinced of. Bull market always goes higher, right? Meme stocks are always going higher. Stocks always go higher. Do you see how that's the tell that the bull market's over? As soon as that's the underwhelming narrative, game over. Now, again, when it took a year because of all the stimulus checks. But what do you think the bottom looks like? Does anyone have a guess what the bottom's going to look like? And maybe some of you guys who know, what does the bottom look like in stocks? Because, again, if you've not been in a bear market, you don't know. How do you know what the bottom is? And, again, we talk about VIX, but what do you think the sentiment is? What is the sentiment? Right? The sentiment is stocks are toxic, radioactive. I never want to invest again. I've lost my ass. Yeah, I'll never buy stocks again. That's what people say. I mean, think about it. Again, I don't know if there's people, the average person here is like how young they are, old they are, but at the lows, nobody wants to buy stocks. How do you know the bear market in real estate's over? Nobody wants to buy real estate. When's the bear market in commodities over? When nobody wants to buy commodities. When was the tech bubble over? When nobody wanted to buy tech. Just on that fact alone, are we at the bottom in stocks? If this is a bear market, which I think it is, are we at the bottom in stocks? It's really that simple. And I'm going to end it on that, because if you can't realize that, then I don't know how many months, this could be like 1930s, it could be like the tech bubble and take 10, 15 years. I don't know that. Or it could be quick. Or what's even more scary, this turns into the Nikkei, and I'll just end it on that, because this is what gets super duper duper scary. Super scary. Is that you get this liquidity blowout. Because think about, what did Japan do in the 80s? They went to like liquidity forever, right? They just said, you know what, we're just going to keep pumping. We're going to buy all stocks, all bonds. We're going to buy everything. We're going to devalue our currency to what? We have an aging population. We're screwed. Again, I wish I had more of this, but look at their stock market. Popped in the 80s. Never again. Do we have that? I don't know. But I guarantee on the retests, nobody wanted to buy stocks, right? Nobody wants Fox, and you got the W there. But that's years. Do we know if that's happening? I hope not, because again, trading is going to get real boring. But we'll know what to do. We won't get married to anything. We'll just trade stuff. But the bottom could be, I mean, think about it. Like, we are standing over the abyss, right? If you are newer to trading, you don't know this. Like, look at the NASDAQ bubble. Years of pain. 120 up to 20. Took you 17 years to get back to even, folks. Are we in that kind of cycle? I don't know, but this mountain makes you, I mean, every time I look at this chart, I get nauseous. I want to put on I think I need to strap a parachute on my back watching this chart. I don't know if that's the top, but that is not healthy. That is the Tesla blow off top. And everybody watching confirmed. Like, do you see why I keep telling them, like, if you own stocks, you better be taking your profits. Because, again, if this turns into a bear market, well, if it turns into a hyperinflationary market where the markets go higher, you know how easy it is to buy back in? Well, you'll know. It'll make new highs, and it'll be like game over. It'll be like Argentina, endless dollar printing. Again, just have cash. Just don't lose it all, right? Right. Japan is interesting. Everyone trades FX, but stocks are meh. Worked for a broker with Japan operations. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty wild. Yeah, exactly. They trade the yen because, again, the carry trade and all the different things that currency is used for. They hate stocks. Yeah, I agree. Thanks, Chris, for that insight. Totally familiar. All right. Hope you have a great day. How's BT looking for tomorrow? Sorry, I just don't think it's worth even looking at. It's, again, follow natural gas. That's what coal stocks do. Have a great night. I appreciate all love and support. Share with your friends if you think it's any value. If not, come tell me. Like, again, because I think people who are newer, usually the ones, like, again, you say, smart people are quiet. The idiots are yelling the loudest. Well, if you got good feedback, I love hearing about it. And if you have bad, then it's interesting because I'd love to know your experience. Y'all take care. Have a great night. Have a good one. Great stuff, bro. Cheers. Later, y'all. Peace.